at least they're able to get it. There's lots of parts of the world, and Europe is probably the most fucked, where they don't have population growth, they don't have energy, and they don't have enough food. That's where you probably could see a big internal conflict again, as the edifice of the euro is crumbles, where these countries are like don't want to be tied to a bunch of faceless bureaucrats in Brussels who tell them what to do.
Do you see that as a real concern? I didn't realize that Europe was higher risk.
Yeah, I think Europe is higher risk because, again, it's dying like the rest of the Western world. It doesn't have energy security. It doesn't have food security. I mean, most of the productive region of Germany was powered by Russian gas, right? The Ukrainian breadbasket helps feed a lot of Europe, right? North African oil and natural gas helps keep things running in most of Europe. And so removing those things, Europe's fucked. The euro's fucked. It's a construct. This I'm quoting, paraphrasing macro guy Felix Zulauf. The euro was created to keep France strong and Germany weak, and it's attempting to paper over these differences in economics with this structure that just doesn't work. And it'll come to a head when all of a sudden there's just not enough stuff to go around, and Europe's traditional trading partners are like, well, if you're going to be aligned with the U.S., then we're no longer going to sell you stuff on a preferential basis. There's no longer any Russian gas. There's no longer a bunch of West African countries willing to sell you stuff cheaply. We're just going to let you figure it out yourself. And what's the answer? Print more money. But again, with the euro perspective, you have a bunch of countries that think that they, are some sort of democratic, polities, and the population might be, why do we have the euro anymore? But there's obviously an elite that likes the euro, and that could come to blows.
Okay, so I've talked to Ray Dalio several times, and one of the things that I'm asking him routinely is, because he sees so much disruption coming, what do we do about it? Where do we go? And he keeps drumming this idea that what matters is how people treat each other. And he said, you want to be somewhere where people are treating each other well, there's rule of law, that you can trade. What is the move? And is this how crypto enters your thesis? What is the move if the Western world does get dramatically disrupted, either hot wars in cold places, or capital controls? So the government is trying to lock things down, yield curve control. They're just doing all of those things to continue to prop up the system. What's the play? Is you obviously are American, but you do not live in America. How do you think about that step? And is cryptocurrency part of that?
So the easiest thing right now is to protect your financial wealth, right? For the first time in human history, we have a financial system that is not predicated on government violence. That is crypto. It's an opt-in, violence-free coercion system where I can opt into this Bitcoin blockchain-based financial system, and now I have a way to transact with anyone around the world on an honest, transparent, open source basis. And I can escape the fiat system with as much or as little wealth as I deem appropriate, right? So now I have the ability to take my wealth outside of the government system. And unlike gold, nobody knows how much crypto I have. I can store my crypto in my head. I can memorize my private keys and my seed phrases and restore any of my wallets. And not that I do this, but you can do it if you're good at that. So you can hold as much wealth that you could in Fort Knox in your head. That's absolutely revolutionary. And so we have the financial freedom if you choose to use it. And so once you've obtained financial freedom, then it's about, as Balaji says, choose your tribe. Where is a place that has the same ethos as you, has a good food supply, the weather, you like the weather, but most importantly, you like the community of people who are there. And there's no prescriptive of where that is. That's very personal. Maybe it's where you are right now. And the only thing you need to do is obtain your financial freedom such that if the borders close and whatever, you're cool, you're able to maintain purchasing power in energy terms, but you're around a community of people that you like and love. I think, the community aspect is a very personal one. There's no one right place. The financial aspect is, if you have the ability to do so, get your financial freedom for the amount of capital that you wish from the fiat financial system, if you believe, in the thesis of me and others, and that the math is going to collide with bad politics, then you now have financial freedom, which gives you the ability to move if you want to or not want to.
So the thing I think a lot about with this is timing. I'm obviously a big believer in crypto, but I really don't want to leave where I'm at. And I'm not only am I in America, which does not strike me as the most crypto friendly place. I'm in California, which is definitely done some legislative things that I have found questionable. But man, I don't want to leave. So is that how they get you? Like that you just wait until it's a little too late? Or did that play into your decision to move out of the US?
No, I moved out of the US because it's just not a place that, resonates with me personally, right? I love being in Asia. I love the people. I love the culture. Just, my place, the economic opportunity, all that kind of stuff, right? For some people, America's great, and that's fine. It's a very personal thing. But yes, there's a lot of inertia, right? With people and money, they understand how this monetary system works. Bitcoin didn't exist 20 years ago. You're really going to take your hard-earned money and you're going to put it in magic internet money with a bunch of people with like pudgy penguins and crypto punks as like avatars who are like debating macroeconomic policy on Twitter and other social media platforms. You might think these, we're a bunch of fucking clowns over here, right? And so like, why would I trust this financial system versus the man or the woman in a navy suit with an Hermes tie and a pair of Louboutins on, right? And so it's all these things that factor into whether or not you trust the financial system or not. Again, very personal, but the unfortunate part is that most people aren't taught the math. They don't understand how a bond works. They don't understand how a bank creates and removes credit from the system. They understand why mathematically this cannot continue the way it's going, and that there will be a reckoning. And history has told us the exact playbook they're going to use. It's not as if they're hiding it from us. There's paper upon paper written about exactly how to financially repress a population, to make sure money doesn't leave the banking system, to use the banking system to purchase the government debt at a level the government can afford that is below the level of growth in the economy, such that the government profits. This has all been written about. You can read it on the internet, but most people are too lazy or too distracted, or they work a job and they're just too tired to open up a book and read. But it's all there for you to read. And if you read it all, you'll understand very quickly that this situation cannot continue and you have to do something. And that something depends on your financial position. Obviously, I'm in the position to put a lot more of my wealth into crypto and not care so much where the price goes. Maybe you're not. The most insidious part of inflation is that the poorer you are, the more percentage of your income is spent on energy. Therefore, the more inclined you are to become a degenerate speculator, because the little bit of money you're able to save, you need to lever up so much just to make an impact on the depreciation of your wages versus the cost of food and fuel, that you make bad choices, especially if you're not educated about what these financial markets are.